Everyone back for another review. Superhero movies are all the rage nowadays. So why don't we start with the sequel to one of the very first superhero movies, especially for Marvel. I believe it's the second one to be released theatrically. Directed by Guillermo del Toro. None other than Wesley Snipes, starring in Blade 2. Blade 2 takes place literally 2 years after the first movie, and this is a no-nonsense movie. It goes straight to the point. There is a new breed of vampire out there that they're not even called vampires, they're called reapers. And their main job is to eat other vampires, first of all. Blade finds out about this. He gets commissioned by the head vampire and is told, hey, we need to team up to get rid of these guys, because guess what? After they finish killing all vampires, they're going to go after your humans, Blade. So he assembles a death squad, sends them off with Blade to go get the Reapers. That's the whole movie. That's the whole setup of the movie. And this movie's not that good. It has not aged well, if it was good to begin with. I will give it credit where it doesn't try to double down on the story. This is straight up action flick. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times when the action is very good. The one-on-one action scenes, especially with Blade and the main Reaper, are pretty well. But then there are group fight scenes, especially when the group fight scenes involve Blade, that I don't understand how Guillermo del Toro missed simple things. Like, there will literally be Blade and a character fighting right in front of him, and then there will be a literal other character standing in frame watching it, just like either moving around or just waiting for Blade to beat that one so that he can get his cue to get into the fight. There's like at least 3 or 4 of them, maybe more, and I just couldn't understand why that was left in. Wesley Snipes does, I don't think anyone does poorly as far as the acting goes. Wesley Snipes is really good as Blade, and even though he is a bit corny at times, but then again, this came out in 2002, so I kind of expect that for this style of movie. The Kris Kristofferson came back as the Whistler. There's a character named Scud, as all of you know as Darren from The Walking Dead. He's in this movie. Ron Perlman's in this movie as someone named Reinhard. The action's pretty good. The acting is good. There are just storyline problems riddled through this movie. Like, apparently, there's a girl who's the daughter of the head vampire, and she does a full autopsy just by looking at the Reaper. Like, literally, she just opens the Reaper. Oh, this is where this is where this is at, and this is how this happens. Like, well, who needs operating equipment? There you go. Just look at me and you can tell that I have a cholesterol level that's really high. I don't know. There's no explanation for a lot of this stuff. Donnie Yen's also in this movie very shortly. This movie also feels, for a plot that's pretty simple, it's just getting from one fight scene to the other, it's strangely a little bit long. It's clocking in at about 2 hours. 2 hours. It still feels like about 15 minutes too long. Some other story problems are that there's supposed to be a love. Blade is supposed to have a love interest in this movie, but when it's mentioned by one of the characters, I go, when the fuck did this happen? There was literally, they had anti-chemistry. They just were literally two people. Want to complain about how Trinity and Neo from the Matrix had no chemistry? At least they looked at each other. These two just literally read lines back and forth to each other, and then they go, oh, you like that person, don't you? Like, what? Really? Huh? Also, a lot of the rules in this movie seem strangely arbitrary. Like, in one scene, sunlight will start hitting people and they'll start blowing up. In another scene, they'll just start smoking until whatever, and then vampires can apparently get injured from sunlight while they have their skin covered. There's a lot of that in there, and plus the good guys just did strangely stupid things. Even there would be times where they're running from the Reapers, and they'll start shooting for no fucking reason, and at times it looks like it is hurting them, and then at times it doesn't. When they establish during this one raid fight scene that the bullets don't hurt them. So that was a bit confusing, and then characters would just take weapons that they can use and just throw them away. Like, why the hell would you do that? You guys are worse than fucking people in horror movies. There was a lot of that. There was a double cross that really came out of nowhere and ended just as soon as it came, and really just was like, what was the purpose of that other than to get rid of one character? The CGI does hold up, I'll give it that. This is a movie that's about 16 years old now. The CGI is not bad. I'm not gonna. There are times where it does do that Matrixy thing where it looks too rubbery, or like a lot of the Spider-Man movies where you can tell, oh, that's so CGI'd. But it's never really done in a distracting way. But the movie is just, all in all, I mean, I like it better than the first one. I didn't like the first one because Blade came off as a character who never got hit. So it left the fight scenes kind of hollow. Like, why even get excited for a fight scene if I know that the character is a freaking, nothing's gonna happen to him? This one, they did resolve that, and they did have fight scenes where he would get beat up. The main villain, Nomak, his ending, the end of his story was kind of anticlimactic. A lot like a lot of the things. The comedy in this movie, it was alright. They did have cheesy dialogue. This is from 2002, so it's on that level. All in all, I can see why some people like it. I was kind of disappointed in it. It didn't even have that Guillermo del Toro look to it, where you can tell that the colors were, most of the times when you see a Del Toro flick, you can tell by the colors, the aesthetics. This one really didn't have it, but I will say this: after 5 minutes into watching this movie, I figured out where he got a lot of the stuff from the strain in, and he does. Like, the Reapers are straight out Strigoi, with the way their mandibles, their jaws open up sideways, and then they have a secondary like tongue gland come out and suck out people. So, and a lot of and even the way the Reapers ran is very Strigoi like from the strain. So now it makes me want to go back and watch the strain. I didn't hate this movie. I just thought it was actively dumb. And it's just, for a movie that didn't have any story, it was just literally like, oh, we have to get this guy. The action scenes didn't work enough, and it just felt overly long. Like I said, I did like it better than part 1 though. I give Blade 2 a 5. So, yeah, this is one of the early Marvel stuff, but what can you do? That's all I have to say for now, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye!